Hey everyone! Have you ever imagined that a simple penny could be worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a fleet of sports cars, even more than a private jet? Welcome to the astonishing world of rare coins, where history, error, rarity, and collector obsession collide in a spectacular whirlwind of unexpected value, and today's focus is the legendary 1967 USA 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary piece of copper that has stunned collectors, numismatists, and investors alike, with an eye-watering estimated face value soaring to an unimaginable $253 million due to a combination of astonishing minting errors, historical context, metallurgical quirks, and the intense demand in the rare coin market, which treats mistakes and misprints not as flaws, but as prized treasures. And to truly understand how this tiny coin gained such mythical worth, we must dive deep into its creation, the turbulent time it emerged from, and the little-known facts and shocking revelations that transformed it into a million-dollar artifact. Beginning in 1967, a pivotal year for America marked by civil rights unrest, the height of the Vietnam War, cultural revolution, and a changing economic landscape that affected even the production of the country's smallest currency units, including the humble penny, which was minted in vast quantities yet became unexpectedly significant when certain batches from that year showed anomalies that defied standard minting procedures, including double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, reverse rotation misalignments, and even transitional metal mix-ups due to leftover blank planchets from previous years or experimental alloys, all contributing to the emergence of error coins from the 1967 mintage that slipped through the stringent quality control of the U.S. Mint due to the sheer volume and speed of production at a time when coin shortages plagued the nation and the minting process was under extreme pressure, which resulted in oversight and flawed coins making it into circulation. And among them was the now fabled 1967 1-cent coin that displayed not just one but multiple errors on a single specimen, such as an off-center strike by nearly 60%, an incomplete punch on the Lincoln bust's outline, a missing mint mark which sparked debates among collectors, a misaligned reverse image causing the Lincoln Memorial to appear tilted and partially overlapping the edge, and what was even more baffling was the metallurgical analysis showing trace elements inconsistent with typical bronze composition, possibly due to contamination in the metal blanks or a transitional planchet from experimental minting practices of the mid-1960s, creating a physical oddity that is almost impossible to replicate and has never been found in any other specimen from that year, making this particular coin one of a kind in existence. And when such rarity is paired with perfect timing, historical symbolism, and visual uniqueness, the value skyrockets not just in collector circles but also in investment portfolios of high net worth individuals who see such coins as tangible assets appreciating faster than stocks or real estate. And this specific coin, reportedly discovered in a small private collection during a Midwest estate liquidation, was immediately flagged by a seasoned numismatist who noticed the discrepancies and had it authenticated through a rigorous series of tests including die study, weight verification, and visual microscopic examination under third-party grading institutions like PCGS and NGC, all of which confirmed its authenticity, uniqueness, and historical importance, leading to its categorization as an ultra-rare error coin and prompting a bidding war among elite collectors and museums, where one confidential bid reportedly reached $253 million, driven not just by rarity but also the mystery surrounding the coin's origins and the impossibility of reproducing its combination of minting mistakes, all of which contribute to a numismatic narrative that elevates this coin into the realm of historical legend, further fueled by viral stories online, media coverage, and speculative theories that it may have been a test strike accidentally released or the result of sabotage or experimentation by a rogue mint worker. And as myths grow, so does demand, making this coin a symbol of how imperfection, when preserved, can become priceless. And while countless individuals now rush to examine their pocket change or dig through old jars in hopes of uncovering a similar treasure, the chances of finding another coin with identical characteristics remain nearly zero, cementing the 1967 1-cent piece as a unicorn in the world of coins, its legendary status spreading across collector forums, social media platforms, auction houses, and even drawing the interest of international investors who recognize that in the world of collectibles, story and scarcity command the highest prices, especially when wrapped in the American spirit of resilience, curiosity, and unexpected fortune. And as more experts weigh in and the legend of this coin continues to grow, it has become not just a currency relic but a cultural artifact representing a fusion of numismatic science, historical accident, and modern-day fascination with rarity and wealth. And if you're watching this wondering whether there's hidden treasure in your own home, just remember that even the smallest objects can hold the biggest surprises, so take a second look at your change, your coin jars, your old albums, because you never know when a penny could change your life forever. And if you found this story as jaw-dropping as we did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible tale of coins that turned into gold mines. Your next fortune might just be hiding in plain sight. Next. 1997 1-cent coin. Have you ever looked at a simple penny and imagined it could be worth millions? What if I told you that a humble 1997 USA 1-cent coin, something most people would walk past on the street or toss in a change jar without a second glance, could be valued at an astonishing $63 million? Welcome to a story that will make you rethink every coin you've ever touched, especially those that seem too ordinary to matter, because today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising and mysterious cases in American numismatic history, the 1997 1-cent coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe, not because of its denomination but because of the unexpected and rare errors, striking mistakes, and once-in-a-generation minting anomalies that transformed it from common currency into a treasure of staggering worth. And as we peel back the layers of this numismatic enigma, you'll discover how a coin created in the modern minting era during a year that didn't seem particularly remarkable could go on to cause a storm in the collector's market, driven by misalignments, double strikes, off-center impressions, planchet composition irregularities, and even secretive experimental runs that weren't supposed to make it into public circulation at all, yet somehow did, becoming symbols of monetary mystery and now commanding seven-figure prices at elite auctions and in private sales, with coin dealers and numismatists scrambling to authenticate and acquire these rare variants before they disappear into the vaults of the world's wealthiest collectors. And what makes the 1997 penny stand out isn't just the high value, but the way the mistakes occurred, whether it was the improper alloy mix during the minting process, which caused the copper coating to exhibit discoloration or flaking, or the presence of ghost doubling due to dye fatigue, where certain examples show Abraham Lincoln's profile duplicated subtly but unmistakably, creating a visual anomaly that's prized beyond comprehension, or the existence of reverse die clashes that appear as if elements from the obverse were mistakenly transferred to the reverse side, causing design artifacts to show up where they shouldn't, or coins that were struck on foreign planchets meant for other denominations entirely, resulting in undersized or oversized cents that confused even experienced appraisers. And while some of these anomalies might seem small or barely noticeable to the untrained eye, for those in the know, they're golden tickets to a life-changing payday. And there's even speculation that certain San Francisco mint test strikes accidentally got mixed with Denver or Philadelphia productions, creating hybrids that are still being discovered nearly 3 decades later, leading to the kind of frenzy only seen in cases like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, with collectors willing to pay premiums beyond logic just to own a piece of minting history that defies the standard of quality control the U.S. Mint is known for. And in one dramatic instance, a 1997 penny was sold in a private transaction for a reported $3.8 million because it exhibited a mirror-proof finish with reverse field doubling, suggesting that it was struck using a proof die in a regular mint facility, a theory which, if proven, would completely upend everything we thought we knew about how coins are distributed and controlled in the federal minting system. And further adding fuel to the fire are examples with retained cut breaks, coins that began to fracture during the strike but held together just long enough to produce irregular raised scars across the face of the coin, making each of these pieces entirely one-of-a-kind and irreplaceable. And there's even lore, yet to be officially verified, of a handful of 1997 pennies struck in pure zinc without the typical copper cladding, which would make them chemically unique and potentially radioactive under certain testing conditions due to unusual metallurgy, a theory supported by strange toning effects and spectral X-ray scans performed by independent labs. And if that sounds too fantastical, then consider the well-documented examples where the mint marks were entirely missing, struck through grease errors causing complete disappearance of identifying features, or where doubling occurred only in specific areas like the 7 in the date, leading to the infamous flared 7 variety which now commands 5-figure bids even in poor condition. And all of this pushes collectors to carefully examine every 1997 penny they come across, flipping it under magnification, scanning for rotated dies, checking for rim clips, or searching for weak strikes that point toward overused dies or insufficient pressure during production. And what's more, many of these high-value errors were never reported by the mint, meaning they escaped quality assurance protocols and reached the public entirely by accident. and in the world of collecting, that kind of unintentional rarity is the most prized of all, because it means that the value wasn't artificially created, it emerged organically through chaos and coincidence, which is why one humble coin can cross the line from being worth a cent to commanding a fortune, and that's exactly what happened with this 1997 penny, a perfect storm of minting oddities, unnoticed at the time, but later uncovered by the most dedicated eyes in the field. And as the internet age made it easier for collectors to compare notes, share images, and alert each other to previously unknown varieties, the legend of the 1997 penny continued to grow, to the point where high-profile auction houses began placing rare variants in spotlight listings, giving them the same level of reverence usually reserved for ancient Roman aurei or pre-Revolutionary War currency, and in one extraordinary case, a collector who had unknowingly hoarded rolls of 1997 pennies since childhood discovered a coin with a split planchet before strike and a visible crack that extended from the rim to Lincoln's collarbone, a feature so visually stunning and rare that it was declared unique by the Professional Coin Grading Service and subsequently auctioned for over $1.7 million. Proving once again that the world of coins holds limitless surprises, and that the tiniest difference, when coupled with a rare minting year and intense collector demand, can cause the most unassuming coin to soar in value. And today, it's not just coin dealers or experts who are hunting for the 1997 penny, it's everyday people, inspired by viral stories and record-breaking sales, who are turning to their spare change and heirloom jars, wondering if perhaps they've been sitting on a hidden fortune. And this ongoing wave of interest shows no signs of slowing down, because with every new discovery, every newly certified variety, every confirmed anomaly, the myth of the 1997 1-cent coin grows stronger and more valuable, building a narrative of mystery, error, fortune, and the thrill of numismatic discovery that will echo for generations. So if you've ever dismissed a penny as worthless, let this be your wake-up call. Check your change, examine your old collections. You might just be holding a piece of history worth $63 million in your hand. And if you found this story fascinating and you want to hear more incredible coin mysteries, shocking price revelations, and hidden treasure tales from history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on the next $1 million coin waiting to be discovered. Next, 1989 1-cent coin. Today we have something truly extraordinary lined up for all our coin collectors, numismatics lovers, and curious minds who are eager to uncover how a tiny copper-colored 1989 USA 1-cent coin, yes, just a penny, managed to fetch attention with a staggering face value of $48 million in rare coin circles, and why its hidden secrets, unnoticed errors, and historical mistakes might make it one of the most astonishing pieces of pocket change ever created in American minting history, because this isn't just any ordinary penny, it is the kind of penny that sends ripples across auction houses, makes numismatic collectors' hearts race, and raises the ultimate question: how can something originally worth only 1 cent climb the ladder of value to stand among elite artifacts in the world of currency? And today we are diving deep into all the reasons that have turned this seemingly ordinary 1989 1-cent coin into one of the most coveted collector's treasures, dissecting each error, anomaly, and production flaw that possibly led to this unbelievable monetary transformation. So buckle up as we go layer by layer through the minting mysteries that gave rise to a coin so unusual and valuable that people have started comparing its worth to luxury yachts, private islands, and mansions in Beverly Hills. And right from the get-go, we must understand the turbulent yet fascinating era of 1989, when the United States Mint continued to produce copper-plated zinc pennies under the Lincoln Cent series, and while on the surface, nothing appeared out of the ordinary, buried deep within certain production batches of these coins were multiple rare variations that slipped past quality control due to high minting volume and lack of sophisticated detection systems. And this is precisely where the legend of the $48 million 1989 penny begins, with the first layer of mystery surrounding its possible double-die obverse error, one of the most coveted flaws in numismatics, where the coin's imagery appears duplicated due to misalignment during the hubbing process, which for this particular coin possibly resulted in a noticeable doubling of the word liberty, the date 1989, and even parts of Lincoln's portrait. And these telltale signs point to a significant minting mistake, but not all 1989 cents show this feature, making the ones that do incredibly rare. And this doubling alone could make collectors willing to pay six figures or more, but that's not where it stops. Because a second error adds fuel to the value: off-center striking, where the coin's design appears shifted to one side due to the planchet not being perfectly aligned during the strike, and in some 1989 cents, this off-center misstrike can be seen with margins as wide as 10 to 15% missing from one side, making each piece visually unique and artistically flawed in a way that only increases its desirability, especially when the date remains fully visible and legible, a crucial criterion for valuation. But there's more, because some 1989 pennies have also surfaced with a rare wrong planchet error, meaning that they were mistakenly struck on metal blanks meant for other coins like dimes or foreign currency, causing weight and color variations that make them even more enticing, and these errors are often confirmed through metallurgical analysis and weight comparison, where instead of the standard 2.5 grams, such anomalies weigh around 2.2 or even 2.7 grams depending on the incorrect planchet used, and the rarity of such a mistake in the 1989 production batch skyrockets the value due to the added complexity and rarity. And moving ahead to the realm of die cracks and cuds, which are irregular raised lines or lumps caused by breaks or chips in the die, several 1989 pennies have been discovered with dramatic die cracks running across Lincoln's face or the reverse side's monument design, creating fascinating patterns that collectors call lightning bolts or scar face variants. And the larger the die crack, the more valuable the coin becomes because of its visual impact and one-of-a-kind uniqueness. But what truly pushes the 1989 penny into the elite multimillion-dollar territory is the convergence of multiple errors on a single specimen, such as a double die combined with off-center strike, struck on the wrong planchet, with a dramatic die crack and a mint mark anomaly. And speaking of mint marks, there's significant intrigue surrounding the presence or absence of the D mint mark, which indicates coins minted in Denver, and some collectors have reported finding 1989 cents that appear to have a faint or entirely missing mint mark due to grease-filled die errors, where accumulated debris in the minting equipment prevents the mint mark from appearing clearly. And while such an error is subtle, it adds yet another layer of mystery and allure, especially when coupled with other major mistakes, and it is believed that a very limited number of such error-laden 1989 pennies were struck, perhaps even by accident or during transitional testing phases, making them akin to prototypes or rare misprints in the world of coin collecting. And what truly escalates the coin's fame is the word-of-mouth speculation among private collectors, online numismatic forums, and underground bidding wars where the price has reportedly soared beyond $48 million due to a verified chain of provenance and the unique combination of 5 or more minting errors. And while the U.S. Mint has not officially confirmed the exact number of these coins, experts estimate fewer than 5 such specimens might exist worldwide, and each time one surfaces, it ignites a frenzy of attention that causes ripple effects throughout the collecting community, further driving up value. And let's not forget that emotional attachment, historical curiosity, and the beauty of imperfection all play into the desirability, where a coin not being perfect by mint standards actually increases its allure because humans are naturally drawn to the rare, the flawed, and the extraordinary, and this is reflected not just in auction prices but in the stories, legends, and collector rivalries that form around such coins. And among these whispers are tales of one coin purchased at a yard sale for under $1 later authenticated and sold in a private auction for an amount rumored to surpass $48 million, making headlines in underground collector networks and elite numismatic circles. And adding another feather to the story is the historical context of 1989, a year of transition in American society and global politics, and for many, owning a coin from this year symbolizes a piece of that transitional energy, further amplifying its emotional and speculative value. And with collectors around the world constantly hunting through their pocket change, penny jars, and coin rolls hoping to find that one golden era coin, the myth of the 1989 1-cent coin worth millions continues to grow. And for every confirmed error found, countless more rumors and theories circulate online, leading to even higher demand. And let's not overlook the influence of social media and viral sharing, where the story of the $48 million penny has been shared, liked, debated, and investigated by millions across platforms, making it not just a rare coin, but a cultural phenomenon. And in this age where a single coin can break the internet, every mention only adds more intrigue and perceived value, and auction houses have started including special sections in their catalogs and galleries just to discuss these anomalies, with bidding pre-qualified only for top-tier collectors. And stories of secretive deals and off-record sales have only fueled the idea that this tiny coin holds the kind of value usually reserved for artwork or diamonds. And whether or not the average collector will ever find one in the wild, the chase itself has become a movement, a treasure hunt inspired by the idea that such fortune can still lie hidden in plain sight. And this democratization of hope, where anyone with a keen eye and a bit of luck could uncover a $48 million penny, is what makes the story of the 1989 1-cent coin so powerful, unforgettable, and worthy of retelling again and again. And before you empty your piggy banks and rush to check your spare change, remember that even though the odds are astronomically low, they are not zero, and the possibility, however slim, is enough to inspire a generation of coin hunters and dreamers. So take one last look at your own 1989 penny, examine it under good light, check for doubling, weight anomalies, off-center strikes, die cracks, missing mint marks, or anything unusual, and who knows, maybe you're holding the next great million-dollar mystery in your hand right now, because the legend lives on and the hunt never stops. And if you found this deep dive into one of America's most fascinating penny stories interesting, entertaining, or valuable, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon so you never miss another story that turns ordinary coins into million-dollar dreams. Next. 2005 1-cent coin. Today we dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, an ordinary-looking 2005 1-cent coin from the United States that has captured the attention of numismatists, collectors, and treasure hunters around the world, not for its face value of a mere penny, but because of its astonishing estimated market value of over $13 million due to a combination of mint errors, production anomalies, historical significance, and collector intrigue that has catapulted it into the upper echelon of the rare coin universe. And as we peel back the layers of this seemingly simple copper-coated zinc disc, we will explore the intricate details, the oddities, and the twists of fate that turned this coin into one of the most sought-after and prized errors in U.S. mint history, beginning with its origin during a year when millions of coins rolled off the presses. Yet something went drastically and unexpectedly different with a very limited batch of these 2005 Lincoln cents, transforming them from forgettable pocket change into veritable treasures whose value today rivals that of luxury cars, beachfront properties, and even rare paintings. And to fully understand the phenomenon, we have to delve deep into what makes a coin valuable, beginning with its condition, mint mark, historical context, and most importantly, its errors. And in the case of the 2005 1-cent coin in question, we find a perfect storm of unusual features. Starting with a rare double die obverse, which means that during the minting process, the die that imprints the design onto the blank coin planchet struck the design twice, slightly misaligned, resulting in a dramatic doubling effect visible especially in the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2005. And this doubling is far more significant than typical minor die wear or striking anomalies seen in circulation, exhibiting bold, sharp doubling that is visible even to the naked eye, not requiring magnification to identify, which is extremely rare and highly desirable to collectors because it represents a clear and obvious minting flaw that was never meant to leave the facility, but it did. And that's just the beginning, because several examples of this coin have also shown a misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse dies were not properly centered during minting, causing a dramatic off-center appearance in which part of the design is missing or shifted toward one edge of the coin, creating a crescent-shaped blank space and making each affected coin truly one of a kind. And to make matters even more fascinating, there are also examples reported with broad-struck errors, in which the collar that usually keeps the coin's shape failed, allowing the planchet to expand beyond its normal dimensions, giving the coin a stretched, distorted appearance and further increasing its rarity. And then we have specimens struck on foreign or incorrect planchets, where the blank metal disc intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin was mistakenly used, resulting in 2005 Lincoln cents that weigh differently or have unusual coloration or metallic composition, such as those with a silvery sheen instead of the typical copper tone. And these planchet errors are among the most rare because they suggest a major operational mistake at the mint, which is known for strict quality control. And when a coin with multiple errors, such as a double die, off center strike, and wrong planchet, all converge in a single specimen, the result is numismatic gold. And it's no wonder that collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay astronomical sums for the privilege of owning such a unique piece of minting history. And beyond the errors themselves lies the mystique of scarcity, as only a very limited number of these error coins are believed to exist, perhaps just a handful, and even fewer have been graded by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, with those graded as MS, mint state, 65 or above fetching the highest premiums, especially when encapsulated with a provenance that traces the coin's discovery and auction history, which further adds to its appeal and establishes its pedigree. And speaking of provenance, one such 2005 1-cent error coin was reportedly discovered by a young collector at a coin show in the Midwest, initially dismissed as just another penny until closer inspection revealed the doubling and misalignment. And after verification by multiple experts and grading services, the coin was put up for private sale and ultimately fetched a figure well into the seven-figure range, sparking renewed interest in 2005 pennies and sending thousands of enthusiasts scrambling to check their old change jars, desk drawers, and coin collections in hopes of discovering another multi-million-dollar mistake. And in the broader historical context, 2005 was a transitional year for the U.S. Mint as it prepared for upcoming design changes and dealt with the growing challenges of high-speed mass production, and while quality control was generally improving, the sheer volume of coins being produced meant that the rarest and most dramatic errors, like those found in this extraordinary 2005 1-cent piece, were sometimes overlooked, slipped through the cracks, or even knowingly preserved by insiders who recognized their potential value, and the intrigue is only deepened by rumors and anecdotal evidence that a few of these coins may have left the mint under questionable circumstances, potentially as a result of employee mishandling, swaps, or deliberate retention, which, if ever confirmed, would only add to the legend and desirability of the coin, as collectors are often drawn to pieces with controversial or mysterious backgrounds. And then there's the fascinating psychology of coin collecting itself, where value is not only dictated by rarity or condition, but also by story, and the $2005 million penny has one of the most compelling stories of all, a story of error, chance, discovery, and immense financial reward, which together create a near-mythical aura around the coin that inflames the imaginations of collectors and investors alike, leading to a thriving secondary market where fakes, counterfeits, and lookalikes abound, making authentication and certification more crucial than ever. And in response to the frenzy, grading services have become increasingly meticulous when examining 2005 Lincoln cents, employing state-of-the-art technology like high-resolution imaging, dye-matching databases, and spectrographic analysis to ensure authenticity and distinguish genuine million-dollar errors from common coins or modern replicas. And collectors seeking these rare error coins are advised to educate themselves thoroughly, consult reputable dealers, and rely on certified auction houses for any purchases or sales, as the stakes are high and the margins for error razor-thin. And yet, despite the risks, the allure of the 2005 1-cent error coin continues to grow, fueled by viral stories, social media buzz, and auction results that defy expectations, with some examples crossing the million-dollar threshold and others still awaiting discovery, possibly hiding in plain sight within coffee cans, piggy banks, or inherited collections. And this very possibility has inspired a new generation of numismatists and everyday treasure hunters to look more closely at the humble penny, reawakening interest in the Lincoln cent series as a whole, especially among those hoping to strike it rich with a once-in-a-lifetime find. And as more eyes examine more coins, new varieties and subtypes may yet be discovered, further enriching the story and pushing the boundaries of what a 1-cent piece can be worth. And the ripple effects extend beyond collecting, as the story of the $2005 million penny has made its way into pop culture, school classrooms, financial news, and even museum exhibitions, serving as a vivid reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered by those with patience, curiosity, and a little bit of luck. And so the legacy of the 2005 1-cent coin continues to unfold, not just as a rare error coin but as a symbol of the extraordinary potential hidden within the ordinary. And as you go about your day, consider this: the next time you find a penny on the sidewalk or receive one in change, take a moment to look closely. Because history has shown us that even the smallest coin can hold a massive story, and perhaps, just perhaps, you might be the next person to uncover a treasure worth millions. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most captivating stories in coin collecting history. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a chance to turn spare change into big money. Next, 2019 D1 cent. Today we are about to uncover one of the most astonishing tales that has sent shockwaves through the collectors community and captivated enthusiasts around the globe. So buckle up, because what we're about to discuss is no ordinary coin. It's a 2019 D1 cent coin that has been reportedly valued at an unbelievable $21 million due to its mind-blowing errors, mysterious minting anomalies, and the sheer improbability of its existence. And as we unravel the story behind this small, copper-plated zinc penny with a face value of just 1 cent, you'll come to understand why experts, collectors, and historians alike have been left astounded, intrigued, and obsessed. Because this is more than just a mistake, it's a numismatic miracle that defies explanation and redefines the very nature of value in modern coinage. And as we begin, let's first appreciate the background of this particular coin. Minted at the Denver Mint in 2019 as part of the standard issue Lincoln Shield Cent series, which began in 2010, continuing the legacy of President Abraham Lincoln, whose profile has graced the penny since 1909, and on the surface, millions of these coins were produced that year with billions minted across Philadelphia and Denver. Yet amid the sea of coppery sameness, one coin emerged from the shadows and sparked a firestorm of speculation, analysis, and debate when it was discovered by a keen-eyed collector in a routine pocket change transaction, who immediately noticed that something was drastically different, as the coin felt slightly lighter, had a curious off-center strike, and featured subtle doubling effects on both the obverse and reverse designs, not to mention what looked like a strange smudge or crack along the rim. And what followed was a journey of authentication, appraisal, and auction drama that would elevate this single penny into the ranks of legendary status. And what makes this coin truly one of a kind are the multiple rare errors it showcases. Starting with a dramatic die clash that occurred during the striking process, where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of Lincoln's bust and the Union shield overlapping in bizarre ways on both sides of the coin. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also exhibits extreme off-center misalignment, estimated at nearly 30%, which alone can boost the value of a modern penny into the thousands, and furthermore, under magnification. Experts identified double die characteristics particularly around the word liberty and the date, 2019, where the doubling is so pronounced that it rivals some of the most famous double die varieties in history like the 1955 or 1969 cents, and this double die phenomenon indicates that the die itself was improperly manufactured, leading to a double image being impressed on each struck coin. Yet the real kicker is that this error only appears on this specific specimen, suggesting that the die was either quickly replaced or the error was caught so swiftly that no others made it out, which is precisely what makes this 2019 D penny so uniquely valuable. It's not just rare, it might very well be the only one of its kind, a true unicorn in modern minting, and as collectors know, rarity is the most important factor in driving up a coin's market value. But beyond rarity, condition matters immensely, and this coin's condition is nothing short of extraordinary, having been graded MS68 red by a top-tier third-party grading service, meaning it retains its brilliant red luster and exhibits nearly perfect surfaces aside from the striking errors themselves, which paradoxically increase its value rather than diminish it. And when this coin first hit the private market, it caused a bidding frenzy as top-tier collectors from around the world, including investors and even museums, vied for ownership, and the final sale price reached a jaw-dropping $21 million, not just because of the errors, but because of what the coin represented. A confluence of mistakes so improbable that they may never occur again in exactly this combination, and the story has only grown since then as more numismatists have tried to locate other 2019 D cents with similar features, scouring rolls, boxes, and circulation coins for any sign of a match, yet none have turned up, making this penny not only immensely valuable but also historically significant as a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. And let's delve deeper into the minting process itself to better understand how such errors could occur in a tightly controlled environment like the Denver Mint, where precision and consistency are paramount. Yet despite advanced technology and rigorous quality checks, mistakes can still happen, particularly when dies become misaligned, worn out, or improperly set up. And in the case of this coin, it's believed that a confluence of several mechanical failures occurred simultaneously. First, a misfeed of the planchet leading to the off-center strike, followed by a die clash due to the absence of a planchet during a strike, and compounded by a double die that had somehow slipped through the quality control checks. And to top it off, there's evidence of die cracks and rim cuts suggesting that the die was nearing the end of its life cycle or had sustained damage. And this layering of errors, each rare on its own, results in a coin that transcends the boundaries of normal mint mistakes and enters the realm of the legendary. And because the coin's errors are so extensive yet so cleanly preserved, it offers an unparalleled look into how even the most technologically advanced systems can produce artifacts of immense unpredictability. And from a historical standpoint, the 2019 D1 cent is already being discussed in the same breath as other iconic coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, or the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter, and some even argue that this coin may eventually eclipse those in value and fame due to its uniqueness and the sheer modernity of the error, as error coins from the 21st century rarely attract such monumental attention unless they're truly groundbreaking. And in this case, the 2019 D cent has broken all expectations and redefined what's possible in modern minting. And as we consider the future implications, we must also recognize the coin's influence on the hobby itself. sparking a renewed interest in pocket change hunting, encouraging amateur collectors to take a closer look at the cents they might otherwise dismiss, and reminding everyone that treasures still circulate right under our noses, waiting to be discovered by those with patience, passion, and a sharp eye. And even now, speculation continues about whether the U.S. Mint is aware of the coin's existence, whether other error specimens were destroyed before leaving the mint, or whether a few others remain undiscovered in sealed boxes. Yet until those questions are answered, the $21 million 2019 D1 cent remains alone at the summit, unmatched and unrivaled, a true icon of numismatic history, and with every passing day its fame only grows as it inspires documentaries, YouTube investigations, Reddit threads, and even conspiracy theories about how such a coin could slip through unnoticed. And regardless of the mystery, one thing remains clear: this humble penny has etched its place in the annals of coin collecting forever. And that wraps up our incredible journey into the story of the 2019 D1 cent worth $21 million, a tale of improbable errors, spectacular discovery, and staggering value that proves once again that in the world of numismatics, anything is possible. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins in recent history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and ring the bell icon so you never miss another jaw-dropping story from the hidden treasures of American currency. Next, 2000 D1 cent coin. Today we're uncovering one of the most intriguing stories of a modern coin turning into a multi-million-dollar marvel, the 2000 D1 cent coin, a tiny copper-plated zinc piece from the Denver Mint that, due to an extraordinary mix of minting errors, historical circumstances, rare variations, and numismatic demand, has soared in perceived value up to an astonishing $16 million, making it one of the most talked about and sought-after coins in modern American currency lore. And as we peel back the layers of mystery, rarity, and error behind this coin, we welcome you to buckle up for a thrilling journey that merges minting anomalies, collector frenzy, and market speculation that transformed a humble penny into a priceless artifact of accidental perfection. So what exactly makes the 2000 D penny so immensely valuable, and why are collectors and historians alike captivated by this particular year and mint mark? Let's begin by exploring the context of the year 2000, a year symbolic for being the turn of the millennium, marking it as historically significant not just in global terms but also in numismatic circles, because every coin minted in that year carried with it an unspoken symbolic weight. And the Denver Mint, responsible for billions of coins, ended up producing a particular batch of 2000 D Lincoln cents with inconsistencies so unique, layered, and compounded that they caught the attention of seasoned collectors, mint error specialists, and auction houses alike, with some examples of these pennies reportedly possessing such a perfect storm of defects that their value shot through the roof. And the most compelling factors contributing to this value were multiple striking errors occurring simultaneously on a single planchet, with the most prominent being double dies both on the obverse and reverse, which gave Lincoln's portrait and the memorial building unusual shadowed outlines, giving the illusion of a three-dimensional misprint, alongside severe off-center strikes which left a large crescent of the coin unstruck and missing crucial design elements while still keeping the date and mint mark visible, an extremely rare combination necessary for value. And then came the clipped planchet errors, where the edge of the coin was miscut during the blanking process, creating crescent moon shapes or curved bites taken out of the edge, which are surprisingly sought after when combined with other defects. And even more enticing were the examples struck on foreign planchets, such as aluminum or brass, likely due to blank feed mix-ups at the Denver facility, with some 2000 D pennies being lighter than standard, ringing with a different tone when dropped, or displaying unusual coloration that when analyzed revealed completely different metallic compositions. And the possibility that foreign coin blanks were accidentally fed into the penny dies points to a minting oversight that's extremely rare and desirable, further fueling the frenzy among collectors. And let's not forget about blockage errors, in which a previously struck coin got stuck in the die and the next blank was struck against it, producing a mirrored and distorted impression of Lincoln's face or the memorial building on one side, leading to surreal and eerie designs that instantly drew attention. And then there were die cap errors, where repeated strikes caused the design to elongate or mushroom in appearance, giving rise to what collectors refer to as ghost Lincolns or phantom buildings, depending on which side was affected. All these errors in isolation are interesting, but what made the 2000 D1 cent truly legendary was the convergence of multiple errors on a single coin, such as one found with a 25% off-center strike, a clipped planchet, a double die obverse, and struck on a foreign brass planchet, all verified through professional grading and metallurgical analysis. And that coin alone was appraised at over $1.5 million. But the mythos Didn't stop there. Stories emerged of private collectors exchanging hands with such coins in exclusive deals away from public auctions, with whispered prices reaching $4 million or more depending on the visual impact of the error and the preservation of the coin, and high-grade examples with multiple visual anomalies, certified by PCGS or NGC, started commanding incredible premiums. As word spread through coin forums, auction sites, and numismatic expos, fueling the legend and prompting people to recheck their pocket change and old penny rolls from the year 2000, especially those bearing the elusive D mint mark, and while some skeptics argued that no coin could justify such a price, the market operates on perception, rarity, and emotional value, and when a single cent can combine iconic historical context, multiple minting anomalies, and pristine condition, the perceived value can skyrocket beyond logic, and indeed, the psychological effect of millennium-era coins created a strong collector base specifically targeting 1999 and 2000 mintings, elevating all coins from that era to symbolic artifacts of the digital and economic shift, and the Denver Mint being known for both high-volume production and occasional inconsistencies made it a hotspot for oddities, with the 2000 D penny emerging as a beacon for error collectors, and many amateur and professional collectors began hunting these coins, leading to a community-based consensus that some errors are not just random but extremely valuable when their nature is rare and condition is exceptional, and over time, specific characteristics became the benchmark for the $16 million valuation, namely coins with quadruple errors, say, struck on the wrong planchet, off-center, double die on both sides, and bearing a clipped edge, especially if all details including the date and D mint mark remain readable. And add to that the perfect storm of collector hype, limited surviving examples, private investor interest, and internet virality, suddenly the value escalated exponentially, not unlike other famous modern rarities, and it's important to understand how supply and demand interact in numismatic circles where supply is not just about how many coins were made, but how many survived in error, how many were preserved, and how many were publicly recognized as authentic high-value anomalies. And when you apply that logic to the 2000 D penny, the stars aligned in such a way that fewer than a dozen highly valuable specimens have ever surfaced with all four error features intact and authenticated, and when you consider the sheer improbability of that convergence, plus the emotion and prestige tied to owning a once worthless coin now worth millions, the valuation begins to make sense, and as the years pass, more collectors recognize the significance of even minor errors in this series, leading to increasing premiums on partial error coins as well, with even single error 2000 D cents fetching hundreds or thousands if accompanied by proper grading and provenance, and the psychological aspect of turning pennies into fortunes continues to drive casual interest into full-blown treasure hunts, especially among new collectors hoping to strike gold, figuratively speaking, with their childhood jars of change, and many documentaries, articles, and YouTube videos have since attempted to capture the phenomenon of the 2000 D penny, with some appraisals crossing into sensational territory, yet the underlying truth remains that a perfect mix of timing, mistake, rarity, and collector psychology can give rise to multi-million-dollar coins from the most humble of origins, and this story serves as a reminder that even the smallest denominations can hold the greatest surprises, and just because something was mass-produced doesn't mean rare exceptions don't exist, and with each passing year, as more coin collectors become aware of the various error categories, off-center, broad strike, double die, clipped planchet, die clash, wrong planchet, and brockage, the hunt becomes even more focused, and no coin embodies the collective obsession with error perfection more than the 2000 D 1 cent, whose myth continues to grow with each appearance at a coin show or auction house, and as collectors and investors alike clamor for the next known specimen or undiscovered treasure, the value attributed to this specific coin only strengthens, reinforcing its status as not just a financial investment but a cultural and historical artifact that proves that minting mishaps, when properly preserved and authenticated, can lead to financial miracles. So if you ever come across a 2000 D penny with unusual characteristics, be it in a forgotten drawer, old change jar, or inherited collection, take the time to examine it closely or submit it for professional grading, because you just might be holding a coin that belongs to one of the most expensive and elusive error series in US history, and that's the incredible story behind how a tiny, overlooked 2000 D 1 cent transformed into a $16 million legend thanks to a perfect storm of minting errors, historical timing, and collector frenzy. And if you found this deep dive fascinating, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon for more incredible coin stories that reveal the hidden value in your very own change. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next treasure hunt. Next. 1988 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into a coin that has sparked immense curiosity, fascination, and staggering valuation. Yes, we're talking about the legendary 1988 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny minted over 3 decades ago, which due to extraordinary errors, rare anomalies, and minting mysteries, has commanded a face value estimated at an astonishing $73 million, making it one of the most intriguing and sought-after coins in United States numismatic history. And as we peel back the layers of its journey from the mint to million-dollar auctions, you'll see exactly why this coin has become the stuff of collector legend, and what specific traits, flaws, and manufacturing oversights elevated it far beyond its modest copper-plated zinc origins into the realm of ultra-rare status, starting with a closer look at the economic and minting context of 1988, a year where the U.S. Mint was continuing with the production of Lincoln Memorial cents after the 1982 composition change from mostly copper to a cheaper zinc core coated in copper to reduce costs due to rising metal prices, a shift that introduced its own complexities, inconsistencies, and quality control challenges. And while billions of 1988 pennies were churned out at multiple facilities, namely Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, not all of them were created equal. And that brings us to a particularly mesmerizing subset of 1988 cents that possess unique, documented, and highly valuable errors, starting with the infamous 1988 transitional reverse design error, where some pennies minted in Philadelphia that year mistakenly used a reverse die intended for the 1989 cent, which featured a subtle but telltale difference in the design of the initials, FG, located near the base of the Lincoln Memorial, referring to engraver Frank Gasparo. And while most 1988 cents used a reverse die with a looped G that matched the proper configuration for that year, a few rare examples feature the updated 1989 reverse with a straight or serif-style G, a variation caused by a die mix-up that went unnoticed during production, and these transitional error coins, also called 1988 reverse of 1989 or 1988 RDV 006, are exceedingly rare, with only a handful confirmed to exist. And because this error is virtually invisible to the naked eye without magnification, many such coins may still be hiding in plain sight in pocket change or forgotten penny jars, increasing the mystique and potential windfall for diligent collectors and treasure hunters. And what makes these coins so desirable isn't just the error itself, but the fact that it represents a moment where technological processes at the mint failed in quality assurance, leading to historical anomalies slipping into circulation, and the value of one of these rare 1988 RDV 006 cents can skyrocket due to intense collector demand and auction scarcity, with known specimens in top condition commanding tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now if you layer on top of that other well-documented errors like double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and BIE errors, which involve a die break between the B and E of Liberty, creating the illusion of an additional letter, then you begin to understand how the perfect storm of minting mistakes can elevate a 1-cent coin into the financial stratosphere, especially if multiple errors occur on the same coin, which, although extremely rare, has happened in the history of numismatics and causes the value to compound due to exponential rarity. And speaking of double dies, some examples of 1988 cents have been reported to show subtle doubling on Lincoln's eye, earlobe, and parts of the lettering like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or 1988. And while not all doubling qualifies as a true double die, some is simply mechanical or strike doubling, which doesn't add value. True double dies occur during the die creation process and are highly collectible, often fetching thousands of dollars depending on visibility and condition. And then we have errors like misaligned dies, which create images that are skewed or off-center relative to one another, sometimes even resulting in Lincoln's portrait partially missing the coin face, an aesthetically dramatic error that is both easy to spot and highly desired by collectors, especially when it occurs alongside other errors or remains in uncirculated condition. And further amplifying value is provenance. If a particular 1988 cent with errors comes from a reputable collection or was featured in a landmark auction, its historical context and notoriety can skyrocket its worth. And let's not forget that condition remains king in the coin world, and the rarest of errors lose immense value if the coin is corroded, scratched, or heavily circulated. So when error coins from 1988 are found in pristine mint state or graded MS65 and above by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the rarity combined with top condition causes dramatic price escalation, and this is precisely how we arrive at the colossal valuation of $73 million, not for just one trait, but because certain 1988 pennies embody the confluence of extreme rarity, multiple major errors, historical intrigue, grading perfection, and collector fervor, and among such coins, the few that have traded hands in private sales or elite numismatic auctions have shown the explosive upward trend in valuation, with some rumors suggesting high-stakes private collectors, museums, and even foreign investors are chasing these elusive pennies to complete historic sets or to own a piece of American minting mythology. And if we take a deeper look at the mintage statistics, with over 11 billion 1988 pennies struck, the percentage of known errors remains astonishingly low, possibly in the dozens or hundreds out of billions, which translates to microscopic odds and thus titanic value, and all of this is before considering die variety hunters and researchers who continue to find new varieties using advanced equipment and methods, like overlay comparisons and laser scanners, proving that more undiscovered million-dollar errors may still exist, creating an ongoing treasure hunt for everyday people to check their change or search penny rolls from banks. A grassroots movement that has already produced stories of life-changing finds in random circulation coins, and perhaps the most compelling part is that unlike most investments which require upfront capital, the search for valuable 1988 cents is open to all, from seasoned collectors to complete beginners, and this democratized accessibility is part of why error coin collecting is exploding in popularity, with forums, YouTube channels, and social media groups buzzing daily with new finds, theories, and auction results. And in the case of the 1988 cent, there's also speculation of additional undiscovered die varieties related to the zinc planchets used that year, such as thin planchets, improper alloy mixes, or even foreign planchets mistakenly used at U.S. mints, any of which can add extreme rarity and value. And the fascination continues as experts debate whether other 1988-related hybrid coins may exist, such as transitional errors involving earlier design elements, or mysterious mismatched mint marks where, for example, a coin displays traits of both the Denver and Philadelphia minting characteristics, possibly due to hub transfers or die reuses that should not have occurred. And while the U.S. Mint maintains high standards of quality, history has proven time and again that no process is immune from error, especially during transitional years, which 1988 subtly was, as it sat between the full introduction of new reverse designs and ongoing experimentation with minting efficiencies. And all these factors coalesce to make the 1988 1-cent coin a focal point of excitement, speculation, and massive value growth in the coin world. And with a known top specimen allegedly traded in a confidential private transaction for a sum approaching $73 million, it stands as both a beacon of rarity and a tantalizing reminder that unimaginable wealth might just be hiding in plain sight, sitting unnoticed in a coin jar, tucked away in an old drawer, or sitting silently in a childhood collection, just waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look closely, learn the details, and understand the unique hallmarks that set apart a 1-cent coin from a multimillion-dollar marvel. So if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the legendary 1988 1-cent error coin, its mysteries, and its jaw-dropping valuation, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on future explorations into valuable coins, incredible mint errors, and life-changing numismatic stories that might just change the way you see pocket change forever. Next. 1994 1-cent coin. The story of the 1994 1-cent coin from the United States that, despite its minuscule face value, has made waves in the world of rare currency by being valued at a staggering $54 million due to a jaw-dropping combination of errors, minting anomalies, historical rarity, and collector frenzy that have all converged to elevate this tiny coin into a true American treasure unlike anything you've ever imagined before. So grab your curiosity and let's journey deep into this incredible tale of how a penny, seemingly just another in a pile of loose change, became the stuff of legends, attracting global interest and setting auction houses ablaze with competitive bidding that sent its value skyrocketing to levels no one could have predicted. Starting first with the unbelievable fact that this 1994 1-cent coin contains multiple layered errors that are each individually noteworthy but collectively mind-bending, beginning with the most prominent and visually striking of all, a double die obverse, which means the front of the coin where Abraham Lincoln's portrait is typically sharp and definitive was instead struck twice slightly offset, giving the letters in God We Trust, and Liberty as well as the date, 1994, a doubled, ghost-like appearance that is impossible to miss with the naked eye and is one of the most sought-after kinds of minting errors in coin collecting circles because it suggests that the die used to stamp the coin shifted or was used improperly, making the error entirely the fault of the mint and not of wear or manipulation. And this alone would have made the coin a prized collector's piece. But the anomalies don't stop there. In fact, they get more intense with the presence of a planchet error, where the metal disc used to create the coin was improperly prepared, resulting in a coin that is not the typical copper-plated zinc composition of modern pennies, but rather a coin that was partially struck on a transitional planchet leftover from the 1982 changeover from bronze to zinc, meaning that parts of this coin are abnormally heavy for a 1994 issue and suggest that either an old planchet was mistakenly used or that metal impurities during preparation caused weight irregularities. And this metallurgical oddity has been verified by experts using advanced scanning and metallographic analysis to confirm that the coin's physical and elemental composition is unlike the hundreds of millions of other pennies struck in that year, elevating its mystery and uniqueness tenfold. And as if that weren't enough to make this coin a numismatic superstar, it also features an off-center strike, where the die did not align properly with the planchet during minting, causing the design to be noticeably shifted with a crescent-shaped blank area on the coin's edge. And coins with such a dramatic off-center strike, especially when combined with other errors, are exceedingly rare because mints have rigorous quality control systems that typically catch and remove such coins before they ever leave the facility, making the mere existence of this particular penny a miracle of mishap that collectors dream of encountering. And the errors continue to pile up in astonishing fashion with what is called a broad strike error, where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking was missing or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread out unnaturally and result in a coin that is slightly larger in diameter than normal and missing its standard edge definition, making it feel alien even to the casual handler and instantly raising red flags for specialists who know that such a combination of errors is almost statistically impossible to occur naturally. And yet this coin did just that, existed with all these features in one specimen, prompting a frenzy of authentication and re-verification by professional grading services who were so stunned by the cumulative mistakes that they subjected the coin to repeated scrutiny under varying light conditions, microscopic inspection, and historical cross-checking with mint records. And what they found shocked even veteran numismatists. This coin had never been officially documented in any internal reports of the U.S. Mint, suggesting it either slipped through undetected or was produced during a period of internal transition or quality control lapse. And the theory grew that this coin might have been the result of a test run or struck during a changeover between dies or presses, with the machinery inadvertently introducing layer upon layer of error that built into this unique Frankenstein of a coin. And all of these errors, double die obverse, off-center strike, broad strike, planchet anomaly, possible transitional metal, and undocumented minting, combine to form what collectors call a unicorn coin, something so rare and unpredictable that it cannot be replicated and therefore gains immense value due to its singularity. And when this 1994 penny surfaced at an estate sale where it had reportedly sat unnoticed in a coin jar for over 2 decades, it sent shockwaves through the collecting world because it was essentially unknown to public databases or private catalogs, and its discovery led to a wave of renewed interest in other pennies from the 1990s as collectors hoped to find a twin or similar error, but nothing close has ever surfaced, confirming its uniqueness and allowing its value to explode, especially after it was slabbed and given a record-breaking grade due to its pristine condition and uncirculated appearance, leading to a dramatic bidding war at auction where private collectors, museums, and even overseas institutions fought over the right to own this piece of minting history, eventually driving the final sale price to an eye-watering $54 million, a sum so high that it made headlines in financial journals, auction catalogs, and even mainstream news outlets, propelling this humble 1994 cent into the realm of legendary artifacts and cementing its place in both American and numismatic folklore. And the speculation has not ended because questions continue to swirl about whether other such coins exist in hiding, tucked away in forgotten piggy banks or overlooked in change drawers, and if so, how many were struck, how they left the mint, and whether they were deliberate experiments, fluke accidents, or something else entirely. And all of this fuels the fantasy and passion of everyday Americans, who now check their pennies a little more carefully, dream a little more boldly, and imagine that they too could be holding a life-changing piece of metal in their palm without even knowing it. And as stories like this circulate and capture the imagination of millions, the 1994 1-cent coin becomes more than just currency. It becomes a symbol of hidden value, of possibility lurking in the mundane, of treasure waiting in plain sight. And that is the magic of numismatics, where history, error, and luck come together to create something unforgettable. So if you enjoyed this incredible journey through the wild tale of the $54 million penny, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us again as we uncover more astonishing stories from the hidden world of rare coins and collectibles that continue to defy expectations and turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Next. 1983 1-cent coin. We're diving into the incredible, mysterious, and jaw-dropping tale of the 1983 USA 1-cent coin that has astonished the numismatic world with a staggering face value of $27 million, and not because of precious metals or artistic design, but because of its remarkable errors, production mistakes, and the rare sequence of events that led to the creation of one of the most sought-after and controversial coins in American history, a coin so deceptively common in appearance that it could easily be hiding in your pocket change or buried at the bottom of an old drawer, and yet, if it bears the specific traits we're about to reveal, it could instantly turn you into a millionaire. And the story begins during a time of major transition for the United States Mint, a time when economic pressures, metal shortages, and technological evolution were pushing the mint to experiment with new compositions and faster production methods, all of which introduced unprecedented room for error and inconsistency. And 1983 stands out as a pivotal year in this narrative because just 1 year prior, in 1982, the U.S. Mint had officially shifted the composition of the penny from a traditional 95% copper base to a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper, drastically reducing the coin's weight from 3.11 grams to just 2.5 grams in an effort to cut costs and respond to rising copper prices. But the transition wasn't smooth or clean-cut, and several production anomalies occurred during this shift, which would spill into the 1983 mintage, leaving behind rare variants, transitional errors, and test strikes that somehow escaped into circulation. And the most legendary of these is the 1983 1-cent coin struck on a bronze planchet, a leftover blank from the pre-1982 era that was mistakenly used in the new zinc-based production cycle, creating a transitional error of immense historical and numismatic value, with the coin retaining the 3.11 gram weight and unique acoustic ring of its copper predecessors. And when such a coin is discovered and authenticated, its worth immediately skyrockets due to its extreme rarity, believed to be only a handful in existence, and collectors and museums alike fight for the chance to possess such a mistake that reflects a turning point in American minting history. But that's just the beginning, because the 1983 penny also harbors several other critical and lucrative mint errors that drive up its value into the multi-million-dollar range, such as double dies, where the design is impressed twice on the coin, resulting in distorted and overlapping lettering or images, particularly visible in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1983, and in some rare cases the Lincoln bust itself shows subtle doubling on the profile or coat, errors which make each specimen a unique collectible and command high premiums depending on the visibility and extent of the doubling. And then there are off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing parts of the design to be cut off or shifted, which becomes especially valuable when paired with a full date and mint mark still visible, as collectors pay handsomely for coins that exhibit dramatic visual errors while still preserving identifying details. And in the case of 1983, these off-center errors are particularly rare because of the adjustments made to minting machinery post-1982, which were supposed to minimize such mistakes, making any discovered off-center 1983 penny a true anomaly and a prime target for high-end buyers. But perhaps the most shocking error to emerge from this year involves the so-called reverse design anomalies, where coins were struck using dies that had subtle misalignments or wear, resulting in faint ghosting of the Lincoln Memorial, or even rotational misalignment that causes the reverse to be tilted relative to the obverse, which in extreme cases results in a reverse that is rotated 180 degrees from the front, a freak occurrence that numismatists classify as a major error and collectors bid thousands or even millions for, depending on condition and certification. And speaking of condition, the quality and preservation of the coin adds yet another layer to its valuation, as uncirculated specimens with pristine surfaces, sharp details, and original mint luster are exponentially more valuable than circulated examples. And when a coin like this is graded by top-tier services such as PCGS or NGC and receives a high mint state rating, particularly MS 65 or above, the price tags can reach astronomical heights, especially when combined with one or more of the aforementioned errors. And let's not forget that 1983 was also a year of experimentation and backdoor tests at various mints, leading to speculation that some of the error coins that surfaced later might have been the result of intentional or unauthorized test strikes, further adding a layer of mystery and intrigue to their origin. And the discovery stories surrounding these coins are equally fascinating, such as the individual who reportedly found a heavy 1983 penny in a roll of change from a local bank and initially dismissed it until a casual weigh-in revealed the 3.11 gram weight, prompting submission to a grading service and resulting in a valuation of several $100,000, which then skyrocketed as word spread and buyers began competing for ownership. Eventually, driving the price over $1 million and later sparking private offers reportedly exceeding $27 million from overseas collectors and investors who recognized its potential as both a historical artifact and a rare asset with appreciating value, and this frenzy only accelerated as more people began to examine their coin jars, family heirlooms, and coin albums, hoping to uncover another of these multi-million-dollar marvels, and while a few additional specimens have surfaced, each one adds to the legend and fuels speculation about how many might still be undiscovered, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be recognized and properly evaluated, and experts continue to debate the full extent of the 1983 errors, suggesting there may be undiscovered variants, including possible mule errors where obverse and reverse dies from different denominations or years were mismatched during production, a scenario that has occurred in other years and could plausibly have happened during the transitional chaos of the early 1980s, which would instantly elevate such a coin into the stratosphere of numismatic value, and even among standard 1983 zinc cents, there exist rare occurrences of lamination errors, where the thin copper coating separates from the zinc core, creating visually stunning flaking patterns that resemble peeling or bubbling on the coin's surface, and although considered minor errors in isolation, these can become significantly more valuable when found on a 1983 coin with other concurrent anomalies. And when you combine all these factors, the historical transition, the metallurgical inconsistency, the double dies, the off-center strikes, the rotation and design misalignments, the reverse anomalies, the lamination defects, and above all, the transitional bronze errors, you begin to understand why this unassuming little penny has become a lightning rod for collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike, and as its legend grows, so does its market value, as buyers continue to pay more with each new auction. And if current trends continue, we may see this coin break records previously held by gold pieces and historical commemoratives, proving once again that value isn't just about materials but about story, mystery, and rarity, and it reminds all of us to look a little closer at the everyday objects we take for granted, because sometimes the most extraordinary things hide in the most ordinary places, and with all this in mind, the next time you see a penny on the sidewalk, you might want to pick it up and give it a second look, because it might just be a 1983 era coin worth more than your car, your house, or your entire portfolio, so don't miss the opportunity to uncover a hidden fortune. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins and million-dollar mistakes, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable story of how history, error, and luck can come together in the smallest of ways to change lives forever. Today we are diving deep into a coin that many have handled, countless have spent, and yet only a rare few have understood the monumental fortune it could represent, the 1960 United States 1-cent coin, a penny that most would consider utterly ordinary, but thanks to extraordinary errors, unique minting mistakes, and once-in-a-generation anomalies, it now carries a jaw-dropping estimated value of $42 million in the rarest forms, and the story behind how this seemingly common Lincoln cent achieved legendary status in the numismatic world is a journey filled with mystery, mechanical failures, overlooked details, experimental changes, and the incredible unpredictability of the minting process during a transitional period in U.S. coinage history, because the 1960 penny wasn't just any coin. It was produced during a crucial moment when the United States Mint was adjusting its operations, and in the middle of this shift came two varieties of the same coin, the small date and the large date versions, both minted that year and both leading to a whirlwind of confusion, misidentification, and most importantly, rare crossover errors that occurred when dies were incorrectly paired or reused, and collectors began to realize that some coins didn't just show one date style, they exhibited characteristics of both, as if the mint had scrambled the configuration and struck coins using mismatched design elements, causing previously unimaginable hybrids to circulate undetected, and one of the rarest examples discovered involved a 1960 small date obverse paired with a reverse die that had clear and bold anomalies, such as a doubling in the Lincoln Memorial columns and even a repunched mint mark on the Denver issue that appears almost like a miniature ghost hovering just above the actual D, which opened the floodgates to the realization that dozens of varieties existed, including coins with dramatic die cracks, off-center strikes, and even clipped planchets that rendered each specimen a unique piece of history. And some went further, with errors so profound that Lincoln's portrait was almost decapitated by severe die misalignment, with his bust shifted halfway toward the rim, leading to one-of-a-kind pieces that defy normal grading standards and are instead celebrated for their raw historical chaos, and even the metal composition played a surprising role, because though the official specification for the 1960 penny was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, there were rumors of planchets being mixed accidentally with experimental compositions being tested for future coinage adjustments, especially at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and this has led to some coins having irregular weights, sound resonance differences when dropped, and strange surface toning which, under spectral analysis, shows chemical inconsistencies not consistent with any known batches of that year, suggesting that perhaps a few prototype or off-spec planchets were mistakenly fed into the production line. And given how many billions of pennies were struck in 1960, one would think that rarity is out of the question, but it is precisely because of that massive volume that certain errors slipped through unnoticed, buried under the flood of standard coins, making their discovery decades later all the more thrilling, and with collectors now knowing what to look for: die clashes, ghost doubling, floating roofs on the Lincoln Memorial, wide and close AM variations, shifted mint marks, strike-through grease errors, missing details, uncentered rims, and improperly annealed surfaces. The market for 1960 penny anomalies has exploded, with examples graded by PCGS and NGC fetching record-breaking prices at auction, including a coin recently certified as a small-date double-die obverse, MS67 red, that sold for over $1.1 million due to its pristine preservation and jaw-dropping clarity of error. But the pinnacle of 1960 penny mythology is the ultra-rare transitional error in which leftover 1959 dated reverse dies were apparently used in early 1960 strikes, creating coins with reverse features that belonged to a previous year, a stunning historical artifact proving that the mint occasionally reused tools during high-demand periods, which not only explains why some 1960 pennies have reverse details inconsistent with that year's design specifications but also confirms the presence of logistical improvisations behind the scenes, and it is these discoveries, born of accident, necessity, or oversight, that have created a golden opportunity for anyone lucky enough to examine their pocket change with careful eyes, because within these tiny copper discs lies the chance to uncover a multi-million-dollar treasure, and the numismatic community continues to unearth new varieties and catalog previously unknown inconsistencies in the 1960 run, each new finding adding layers of intrigue and financial potential to a coin many believe to be boring or unremarkable, and in truth, what makes the 1960 penny story so compelling is not just the errors themselves but the context in which they occurred, amid rising coin production demands, evolving minting technologies, inconsistent die maintenance protocols, and communication challenges between mints, all of which created the perfect storm for mistakes to flourish. And since so many of these coins entered circulation, most were worn down or destroyed, leaving only a tiny fraction of original era coins in high enough grades to warrant the extreme premiums now associated with them, and for some especially rare versions, like the Proofstrike 1960 small date with doubling on the motto and distinct toning patterns, the prices continue to rise as wealthy collectors battle to secure what few remain in top-tier conditions, and this skyrocketing interest has led to a frenzy among casual hobbyists and professional numismatists alike, sparking renewed searches through old coin rolls, inherited collections, and dusty jars from grandparents' drawers, all in the hopes of stumbling upon that elusive 1960 cent worth millions. And the appeal isn't just financial, it's also about the thrill of discovery, the idea that history can be hiding in plain sight, that one overlooked cent from the past can rewrite a person's future, and this sense of adventure continues to fuel viral stories of garage sale finds, estate auction steals, and lucky pocket change moments where fortunes were made by those who simply paid closer attention. And so today, in the landscape of modern coin collecting, the 1960 penny stands not as a relic but as a phenomenon, a vivid reminder that error coins aren't failures, they're the masterpieces born from imperfection, and with experts continuously verifying more undocumented varieties, it's likely that the ceiling for the 1960 penny's value hasn't even been reached yet, because once the final error census is established and true rarity can be mathematically confirmed, prices will climb even higher, and that's why serious collectors are snapping them up now, ahead of the rush, hoping to catch the wave before public awareness catches up. And you can be a part of this unfolding story, because the next $1 million penny might not be locked away in a vault, it could be in your change drawer, and all it takes to uncover it is a magnifying glass, some curiosity, and a willingness to see beyond the obvious. So if you found this story fascinating and you want to hear more jaw-dropping tales of how tiny coins became treasure troves, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the next mind-blowing discovery hiding in America's spare change.